Stand before the monolith. It is not a screen, it is a portal. You are looking at a towering wall of light, 50 feet high, where the Amazon rainforest is dissolving and reforming before your eyes. But this is not the Amazon you know. It is not green leaves and brown bark captured by a camera lens. It is a fluid, swirling tempest of pigment that behaves like water, like smoke, like a memory trying to hold its shape. This is Refik Anadol's large nature model, and the first thing you notice is the overwhelming scale of the hallucination. The colors are hyper-real: neon azures, bioluminescent purples, and deep verdant greens that seem to hum with electricity. They do not stay still. The image is a living painting, a term that feels inadequate until you witness the kinetic energy of the pixels. They flow, they crash against invisible shores within the frame. Watching it, you feel a sensation that art historians have long called the sublime, that mix of awe and terror one feels when confronting something vast, like a stormy ocean or a mountain peak. But here, the vastness is not geological, it is technological. We're witnessing the technological sublime. Anadol has not simply recorded nature, he has translated it. The movement you see is driven by fluid dynamic simulations, algorithms that mimic the physics of wind and water. Yet the data powering these currents comes from millions of photographs of coral reefs, flora, and fauna. The machine is not just displaying these images, it is dreaming them. It processes the raw visual data of our planet and reassembles it into a continuous, non-repeating stream of consciousness. It is as if the computer is trying to remember what a flower looks like, but instead of recalling a single static rose, it recalls every rose it has ever seen, all at once, blending them into a single morphing archetype. There is a hypnotic quality to this motion. Viewers in galleries often stand frozen, necks craned, lost in the undulating rhythms of the light. It mirrors the meditative state of watching ocean waves or a crackling fire, but with a distinct synthetic undercurrent. You are painfully aware that this beauty is artificial. It is too perfect, too smooth, too bright. And that is precisely the point. The artwork functions as a mirror, reflecting not the world as it physically exists, but as a machine perceives it. We are seeing nature through the eyes of an intelligence that has no body, no senses, no breath, only data. This visual language creates a paradox. On one hand, it creates a deep spiritual connection to the natural world, evoking the fragility and complexity of ecosystems we rarely see. On the other hand, it alienates us, reminding us that we're viewing a simulation, a ghost in the machine. The swirling particles act like digital dust, creating a texture that feels almost tactile, as if you could reach out and disturb the flow of light. It challenges our perception of reality. In an age where we experience so much of nature through screens, Instagram sunsets, desktop wallpapers, Anadol takes that mediation to its extreme conclusion. He strips away the pretense of realism to reveal the raw, chaotic beauty of the data itself. We are not looking at a forest, we are looking at the memory of a forest, encoded in silicon, shimmering with the spectral light of a dream that will never wake up. If the screen is the canvas, then data is the pigment. But where does this pigment come from? To understand the large nature model, we must look past the mesmerizing surface and into the invisible labor that powers it. This artwork is not the product of a random number generator or a simple visualizer. It is the result of a monumental archival effort, a collaboration between human intent and machine learning that is unprecedented in the history of digital art. Refik Anadol and his studio did not just download images from the internet. They embarked on a quest to build the world's first open-source generative AI model dedicated entirely to nature. This involved training a custom neural network on a dataset of staggering proportions, over 500 million images. These images were sourced from prestigious institutions like the Smithsonian and National Geographic, as well as arguably the most critical collaborators of all, the Yawanawa people of the Amazon rainforest. The inclusion of the Yawanawa represents a crucial shift in how we think about data. Usually, data is seen as cold, extracted resource, something to be mined. But for this project, the visual data represents the sacred heritage of a tribe that has lived in harmony with the forest for centuries. Anadol's team worked to ethically source this visual information, treating the images of medicinal plants, indigenous patterns, and local fauna not as raw material, but as cultural artifacts. When the AI processes these images, it is not just analyzing pixels, it is digesting narratives. The technical process acts as a kind of alchemy. The algorithm, specifically a form of latent diffusion model, analyzes the relationships between these millions of images. It learns that a fern has a fractal structure, that water refracts light, that coral grows in clusters. But because it is a machine, it does not understand biology, it understands patterns. When asked to generate imagery, it navigates through this multi-dimensional library of shapes and colors, hallucinating new forms that sit somewhere between reality and fantasy. These machine hallucinations are what we see on the screen. They are the computer's attempt to bridge the gaps in its knowledge. If it has seen 1,000 pictures of an orchid, it can synthesize a new orchid that has never existed in reality, yet contains the mathematical essence of every orchid in its database. This is where the artistic intent shines through the code. Anadol is using the cold binary logic of algorithms to evoke a warm human empathy. He is teaching the machine to perceive beauty. By training the AI on the specific aesthetic qualities of nature, the vibrancy, the texture, the organic chaos, he transforms the model into a digital savant of the natural world. It is a reversal of the typical AI narrative, which often focuses on efficiency, surveillance, or automation. Here, the AI is a student of the biosphere. It is learning to paint with the colors of the earth. This section of the work is a testament to the potential of human-machine collaboration. It suggests that technology, often blamed for distancing us from nature, can actually be the tool that brings us closer to it, allowing us to see the familiar patterns of our world, processed through an alien yet deeply reverent new mind. As we stand amidst the swirling light of Anadol's dataland, a shadow falls across the brilliance. The beauty of the large nature model is undeniable, but it is also deeply melancholic. Why do we need a machine to remember nature for us? The answer lies in the crisis unfolding outside the gallery walls. We are living in the age of the Anthropocene, an era defined by the rapid extinction of species and the irreversible alteration of our climate. In this context, Anadol's work ceases to be merely a spectacle and becomes something far more urgent, a digital ark. The concept of the museum has always been about preservation, keeping dead objects safe from the ravages of time. But Anadol proposes a radical evolution, the museum as a living archive. Dataland, his vision for a future museum of AI arts, suggests that as we lose the physical reality of coral reefs to bleaching and rainforests to deforestation, we must race to capture their sensory reality. This art is a backup drive for the biosphere. It is an attempt to archive not just the scientific data of these ecosystems, their temperature, their location, their chemical composition, but their qualia, the way they look, the way they feel, the sheer, overwhelming abundance of their visual existence. There is a profound philosophical weight to this digital preservation. Is this art a celebration of life, or is it a memorial? When we watch the AI dream of a coral reef, are we looking at a vibrant future, or are we looking at a ghost? There is a risk that such works could become a palliative, a beautiful distraction that allows us to feel we have saved nature inside a hard drive while allowing the real world to burn. However, Anadol argues that we cannot protect what we do not love, and we cannot love what we do not see. By making the invisible data of nature visible and undeniably majestic, he hopes to ignite a renewed sense of stewardship. The legacy of the large nature model lies in this shift of the artist's role. The artist is no longer just a creator of objects, sculptures, paintings, videos, but a curator of collective memories. Anadol is gathering the fragments of a disappearing world and stitching them together into a tapestry that can survive the decay of biological matter. It is a desperate, noble, and perhaps futile endeavor, but it is one born of profound hope. Ultimately, the work asks us to consider the longevity of our own memory. Long after the last physical tiger has vanished, the large nature model could still be dreaming of stripes and amber eyes, looping in the darkness of a server farm. It serves as a digital elegy, a testament that these things once existed and they were beautiful. It ensures that even if the rainforests fade from the physical earth, their digital dreams will persist, glowing in the dark, waiting for a witness. This is the haunting promise of Anadol's machine, that nothing is truly lost as long as it can be remembered, even if the mind doing the remembering is made of silicon and light.